Good morning, children. Stay safely at home. So, I discussed last the gravitational potential energy. All right. So, what is the gravitational potential energy? That is, if you bring a body from infinity to a point within the gravitational field, then the work done that will be stored as potential energy within the body, and that is termed as the gravitational potential energy. All right. So today I am starting with escape energy and escape velocity. So first try to get a clear concept of these two terms. And now it is our experience that if you just throw a body in the upward direction, then you will observe that it will go to certain height and then it will come back once again under the action of gravity. Alright. Now it is observed that if you throw it with higher velocity, then you will observe that the body can move up with to a higher height, greater height. Alright. So this is the way. So actually what is happening? Let us know the physics about this one, behind this fact. When you are throwing a body, then what you are doing, you are imparting certain velocity within it. So the body is having kinetic energy. So with that kinetic energy, the body is doing the work against the gravity, and the body is moving up against gravity. And when the body is moving up against gravity, then what is happening? Kinetic energy decreasing, potential energy increasing. Then at the highest point, when the kinetic energy becomes zero, then what happens? Under the action of gravity, the body is coming down. Alright, so when you are throwing a body up, the kinetic energy you are imparting on the body, that kinetic energy helping the body to move up against the gravitational field. Alright, so more the kinetic energy you will be able to impart, higher, greater height the body will be able to move up. Okay, so in this way, if you increase the kinetic energy, then one time will come, the body will move up to such a height that it will be able to escape from the gravitational field of Earth. Alright, and it will be able to go into the space. That is known as the escape velocity. Alright. And what is the escape energy then? The energy that is imparted to the body with which the body can overcome the gravitational attraction and can move to the space, means to infinity, is known as the escape energy. Alright, so what is escape velocity? The velocity with which when a body is thrown up, the body can escape the gravitational field and can go to the space is known as the escape velocity. Alright, like that. What is escape energy? Escape velocity definition I am not writing on the board, alright, but I hope you can write it down verbally when I am saying. You listen to it and write it down in your notebook. What is escape velocity? I am repeating, the velocity with which when a body is thrown up, the body can escape the gravitational field and can go to the space is known as the escape velocity. Like that, what will be the escape energy? The energy imparted to the body with which the body can go to the, by means of which the body can go to the space, can escape the gravitational field. That is known as the escape energy. Alright, so we know that if you want, what is the gravitational potential energy? As I said, that it is the amount of energy or amount of work done needed to bring a body from infinity to a point in the gravitational field. Alright, and I hope you can remember the expression was like this, GMMRE. If you bring it on the Earth's surface, then it will be RE, and if you bring to a height h, then it will be RE plus h, like that. Okay, this is the expression for the gravitational potential energy, and this is the work done to bring the body from from infinity to Earth's surface. Alright. So you see, what is the escape energy? Work done to take a body from Earth's surface to infinity. Clear? So here you see, this is the work done to bring a body from infinity to Earth's surface. Now here you are taking from Earth's surface to infinity. So what will happen? Magnitude will remain the same, and instead of a negative sign, it will become positive. So what is the value of the escape energy? Gmm divided by Re. Here remember one thing. When when you are throwing the body from Earth's surface, then you have to take the mass of Earth and you have to take the radius of Earth. Alright. But suppose you are throwing a body from Moon's surface. Clear? You are throwing a body from Jupiter's surface. In that case, what will be the escape energy? It will be G, then it will be the mass of Jupiter by radius of Jupiter. If it is you are throwing a body from Moon, then it will be mass of Moon by radius of Moon. Big G and small m. Big G is universal gravitational constant, no change, and small m is the mass of the body which you are throwing. Okay, so this is the point you have to understand. Means from different planet when you are throwing, then the escape energy, what will happen? The form will be the same. Only thing you have to do that you use the mass of that particular planet and radius of that particular planet. Okay, planet or satellite, whatever it is. So this is the concept of the escape energy. Clear? So you see how one can get the escape velocity. So if you are, suppose let us consider that escape velocity is Ve. Okay, then you see it means that you are throwing the body with velocity Ve. So how much kinetic energy the body is having? Half mve square. So with this kinetic energy, it is doing the work to move from Earth's surface to infinity, and what we have got? What is the work done to move the body from Earth's surface to infinity? It is Gmem by Re. So the initial kinetic energy should be equal to this work done, mass of Earth divided by Re. So you see mass of the body you can cancel. So what is the expression for the escape velocity? Expression for escape velocity is 2gme divided by Re. Once again I am repeating, as we are considering escape velocity from Earth, so we have taken mass of Earth, radius of Earth. If it is any other planet, any other satellite, then in that case this will be replaced by mass and radius of that particular planet or satellite. Now the fantastic thing is that if you look at the expression of the escape velocity, you see escape velocity depends on big G, which is constant. 2 is a constant. Now it depends on mass of Earth and radius of Earth, but it is independent of the mass of the body you are throwing. So if you throw a small pebble, then the velocity with which you have to throw, or if you throw a huge stone to the space, if you want to send a huge stone to the space, or if you want to send a small pebble to space, in both the cases escape velocity will be same. Means you have to impart the same velocity. Okay, this is not the concept that if the mass is small, mass of the body thrown is small, then the escape velocity will be small. No, escape velocity is independent of the mass of the body thrown. This is a very, very important point. So this is the point you have to write and remember, that escape velocity is independent of the mass of the body thrown. Escape velocity depends on what? Mass of the planet, radius of the planet from which it is thrown. Now escape velocity, you can use another form. You know that Gme, big Gme is equal to small g Re square, where small g is the acceleration due to gravity on Earth's surface. I repeat, here what is small g? Acceleration due to gravity on Earth's surface. So you see Re square you can cancel. So you can write 2g Re. So while solving the numericals, both the relations that either you have to use this, when the value of big G will be given, ME RE will be given, then you use this formula to find out the escape velocity, or you can use this relation for the escape velocity when small g will be given. So this point you must remember, that escape velocity does not depend on the mass of the body thrown, and these are the two expressions for escape velocity. Now there is a big consequences of the concept of the escape velocity. You know that there is no atmosphere on the moon. Why on the moon there is no atmosphere? Because you see, if you just calculate the escape velocity of any particle or any body from the moon surface, then what will be the formula? Just now I have discussed, it will be 2g mass of moon by radius of moon. Now if you substitute these values, then escape velocity from moon surface, it comes 2.38 kilometer per second. Now you know that in the atmosphere what we are having? We are having different kind of gases, and the what I can say, the means the part of the atmosphere, okay, that is the hydrogen, helium, nitrogen, all gases. So if you consider the hydrogen gas, then you see the escape the velocity, root mean square velocity of hydrogen molecules are 2.5 kilometer per second. So you see the molecule, the velocity of the molecules of gas is much bigger than the escape velocity on moon surface. So what happens? All the gas molecules, they escape from moon surface as the escape velocity is small for moon surface. That's why there is no atmosphere on moon. Now you know the interesting object, that black hole. What is black hole? Black hole means it is not a hole. Actually it is an object, and the object is such that even if light falls on it, light cannot come out. So as light is get entrapped within it, no light is coming out from it, so it appears dark. That's why it is termed as it is termed as black hole. Okay, black means what? Complete dark. Nothing is coming out from it. So why it is so? It is so because it is not a hole. Once again I am saying that black hole is not a hole. It is an object, and within the object, the density of the object is so high that what happens? Escape velocity for this kind of object is either greater than the speed of light or equal to speed of light. So what is happening? That speed, the light, when it is falling on the body, the light cannot escape from it. Light cannot go out from it. So what you are seeing? You are seeing it dark. So that's why it is termed as black hole. So if you want that a body to be black hole, what is the condition for that? A body to be black hole, the condition is that escape velocity, that 2gm by r, it should be greater than or equal to c. So if it is greater than or equal to c, then you see you can write it like this: 2gm by r is greater than equal to c square. So r is less than 2gm divided by c square. R is less than or equal to 2gm by c square. So if the radius of the body is satisfying this relation, then the body will behave like a black hole. And the main concept regarding the black hole is that the escape velocity is nearly equal to or greater than equal to the speed of light, and that's why light cannot even escape when it falls on the body and it appears as black. So these are the consequences of escape velocity. Now next is coming the orbital speed and period of revolution of satellite. So what is satellite? Everybody knows, the object which revolves around a planet, that is known as the satellite. And you know that satellite again may be natural satellite or man-made satellite, artificial satellite. Okay, so let us discuss first the natural satellite. So here I have taken the most conventional example, that moon and earth. You know, moon is the natural satellite of earth. Okay, or if you consider the artificial satellite, then also you can apply the same concept. Now the question is that why a satellite revolve around earth? You know that gravitational force, always if you consider the earth, this is earth of radius re and mass me. M, not it is m into e, it is a subscript. Okay, and let us consider that a satellite is revolving around earth at a height h from the earth's surface, means from here to here, this is h. then the distance from the earth, center of the earth of the satellite is given by small r. Small r is Re plus H. Now what is the physics behind this revolution? Now when a object revolves around the earth, it is moving over a circular path. So you know, if a body wants to move over a circular path, then it needs the centripetal force. Now in this case, for the planet and satellite system, the gravitational force acting between the planet and satellite provides the necessary centripetal force to the satellite to revolve around the planet. So you see, one can write here that gravitational force acting between the planet and the satellite is equal to the centripetal force needed by the satellite for its revolution. I have said verbally a big sentence, but as my board is very small, I have not written the entire sentence. I have only written gravitational force equal to centripetal force, but as you are the students, you are supposed to listen to my voice and write down the full sentence. Remember that. Once again, I am repeating, gravitational force acting between the planet and the satellite is equal to centripetal force needed by the satellite to revolve around the planet. So, what will be, according to the concept of Newton's laws of motion, what is the value of the gravitational force? It is r square gme, g into m by r square. And what is the centripetal force? I hope you can remember, mv square divided by r. So here we write it is VO, means the orbital velocity, because they move around in a orbit. So the velocity we are writing as the orbital velocity, V naught. Okay, so you see what you are getting, r square getting cancelled. So V0 is given by GME divided by R will be Re plus H. Is that clear? So this is the expression for the orbital velocity. V0 is equal to under root GME, mass of Earth, by Re plus H. Now, instead of Earth and satellite system, if you take Jupiter and its satellite, then what you have to do? You have to substitute the ME by the mass of Jupiter and this RE, radius of Jupiter. Is that clear? So that's why this discussion is applicable for any planet and satellite system. Even you can apply this for sun and earth system also, because you know, means sun and any other planet, because planets are revolving around the sun. So you can apply the same concept, that gravitational force between the sun and the planet provides the necessary centripetal force to the planet to revolve around it. So this is a very generalized expression. You must remember it. You must have the concept that any two system where one is revolving around the other, we can apply this concept. Now you see, you can write down in another way, GME is equal to GRE square, small g RE square. So you can have the expression of the orbital velocity like this also. So these are the two expressions for orbital velocity of a satellite. And once again I am reminding you, the same orbital velocity you can apply for planet and sun system also. Now you see, if you consider that the satellite is revolving in an orbit of radius r and with a velocity v0, and if the time period of revolution is t, time period means what? The time needed for one complete revolution. So you see, when the satellite is moving for one complete revolution, what is the distance traveled? 2 pi r, isn't it? Because it is traveling along this circular orbit. So you see, you can write the orbital velocity as, it will be distance traveled divided by time taken, and this time taken is a time period of revolution. So you can write time period of revolution is 2 pi r by v naught. Again, you know that what is v naught? V naught is GME divided by RE. Is that clear? So you see, if you simplify it, you can get it like this, that small re, it means under root small re, or you can write this way also. This is one relation, or you can write like this also. GME, you can write it as GRE square divided, no, this is not RE, GRE square by R. Is that clear? So you can write it this way. It will be 2 pi R. This is R to the power half and R. So it will be R to the power 1 plus half is 3 by 2 by under root GRE square. Is that clear? So this is the expression for the time period of revolution. So if you square it, then you see what it is coming. T square is equal to 4 pi square GRE square divided into R cube. So this is the relation generally we prefer to remember for time period. The T square is given by 4 pi square by GRE square into R cube. Here RE is the radius of the earth and small r is the distance between the satellite and center of earth. Again I am repeating, if you want to apply this for sun and any other planet system, then also you can apply it. In that case, small re, big re, it will be the radius of the sun instead of radius of earth, and small r will be the distance between the planet and the center of the sun. So these are this is one expression you can remember as for the time period, but I prefer that always you remember this expression for the time period for solving the numericals, and this one also another expression for the time period one has to remember for solving the numericals. Now if we go back to the relation, as I said, it is easy to remember also for the square of the time period. T square is given by 4 pi square GRE square into R cube. So you see, you can write like this. T is 4 pi square GRE square into RE plus H whole cube. So you see what you are getting. RE plus H whole cube is equal to T square GRE square divided by 4 pi square. So what is RE plus H? It is cube root of T square GRE square divided by 4 pi square. So H is equal to 3 GRE square T square by 4 pi square. It is cube root minus RE. So this is the expression for the height of the satellite from Earth's surface. Okay, if you want to calculate what is the height of the satellite from Earth's surface, this is the expression. But I always suggest my children that better you remember only this equation, and that from that one you just substitute the values, automatically H will come. And if you have a sharp memory, then you can mug up this formula also for calculating the height of any satellite from Earth's surface, or height of any planet from the surface of sun. Next concept is geostationary satellite. So what is the meaning of the geostationary satellite? If you just analyze the meaning of the term, you can find it. Geo means earth. Okay. Stationary satellite. What does it mean? If you observe a satellite from Earth's surface, it will appear as stationary, means as if the satellite is not moving. But actually we know that satellite always revolving around the Earth's surface. Alright. So here it is not a real classroom, so I cannot show calling two of my children and that how one satellite can appear as stationary from Earth's surface. So what is the meaning of geostationary satellite? Once again I am telling, the satellite which appear as stationary, which appears to be stationary from the Earth's surface, from the surface of a planet, is known as the geostationary satellite. Alright, now what is the first condition for a satellite to be geostationary? Now this will happen, you know that, you just consider it, satellite is revolving around the earth and earth also rotating around its axis, isn't it? Now, if the time period of rotation of Earth, what is the time period of rotation of Earth about its own axis? That is 24 hours, isn't it? So, if the period of revolution of a satellite becomes equal to period of rotation of Earth about its own axis, then the satellite appears to be stationary when observed from the Earth's surface. Okay, so what is the first condition for the satellite to be geostationary? You can write that time period of revolution. I am writing only T. T means what? Time period of revolution of the satellite. It should be equal to time period of rotation of Earth, time period of rotation of Earth around its own axis. Alright, so this is the basic concept, and you know it is actually 24 hours. Clear? So when this condition is satisfied, then the satellite appears to be stationary when observed from Earth's surface, and that's why it is known as geostationary satellite. Now the angular velocity, there are other conditions for a satellite to be geostationary. Now all these conditions, these are important for your exam. So you must learn it, remember, understand, learn and remember it. Okay. So first point you have understood already. Now time period of revolution will become time period of rotation only when both the satellite and Earth are having the same angular velocity. Alright. So here the angular velocity of the satellite should be same as that of Earth. Another one, their direction of motion should also be the same, because you know when the two bodies move in the same direction, then the distance between them remain the same. But if the two bodies move in the opposite direction, rotate in the opposite direction, just you see the two bodies are moving in the same direction, then what will happen? Distance will same. But if they move in the opposite direction, then look at this, the distance increasing. So the distance between them will remain the same only when the direction of rotation of the satellite should be same as that of Earth. And you know Earth rotates from west to east, anti-clockwise direction. So satellite should also revolve from west to east in the anti-clockwise direction. Another most important point is that the orbital plane of the satellite, it should coincide with the equatorial plane of the Earth. Means the satellite should revolve on the equatorial plane of Earth, not at any other places. So what is the last condition? That orbital plane of the satellite should be coplanar with the equatorial plane of Earth. So these are the conditions for a satellite to be geostationary. Now, the orbit of a geostationary satellite is known as the parking orbit. Okay, these are the few information you have to remember regarding the geostationary satellite. And you know that you can calculate the height of a satellite from this formula, T square G RD square by 4 pi square RD. Now RD is how much? The radius of the Earth, it is 6370 kilometer. Sometimes for easier calculation, one can take it as 6400 kilometer also. And you know what is T? 24 hours, the value of G 9.8. So if you substitute all and calculate, then it comes as 35830 kilometer. So this is the height of a geostationary satellite. Like that, what is the orbital speed of a geostationary satellite? Orbital speed will be 2 pi Re plus H by T. Re and H you substitute, T you substitute, then the value comes to be 3.1 kilometer per second. So these are all important points. Now the next type of satellite you have to know is the polar satellite. From the name you can make out. Now you just consider, suppose this is Earth. So here this is the equatorial line, isn't it? So the geostationary satellite, they revolve in the equatorial plane. Whereas polar satellite, from the name you can make out, polar satellite revolve around the pole. Okay, polar satellite revolve around the pole, whereas geostationary satellite revolve around the Earth on the equatorial plane. Okay, this is the difference. And polar satellites are the low altitude satellite. So you just see, polar satellite, they revolve around the earth, around the pole, on the polar plane they revolve, and they revolve from north-south direction. They revolve north-south direction where the earth is rotating from west to east. So what happens, the polar satellite can view the entire surface of the earth. So what is done actually on the polar satellite, a camera is set. The camera can take the picture of the entire surface of earth by strip. So polar satellites are used as used for monitoring the weather, the environment for monitoring the weather of Earth's surface, weather on Earth's surface, or it may be used as a spy satellite. If you want to just observe whatever activities are going on Earth's surface, then a polar satellite is used. And as they are low altitude satellite, so it is easy to launch them, to set them in that particular orbit. Okay, so these are the important points for the polar satellite you are supposed to remember for your exam. What is that? They orbit the poles of Earth in a north-south direction. These are the low altitude satellite. That is one of the advantage of the polar satellite. They are the low altitude satellite. And as Earth rotates from west to east, polar satellite can scan the entire surface of Earth. That's why the polar satellites are used for weather monitoring or for spying. And for India, you know that different type of series of satellite series are there. Okay, now IERS satellite, IERS is Indian Earth Resources Satellite. The full form is Indian Earth Resources Satellite. These are the polar satellite series in India, and these are the important points related with polar satellite you are supposed to learn and remember. Thank you, girls.